Hey there, how are we doing today? So I have my cowboy hat on for when I'm, well, I'll explain why. But it's because I got a question today from Saudi Arabia. Let's see, it's from, my name is Ahmed Al Ibrahim. I think I got it right. I hope so. Anyway, the question is it worth it to upgrade from the D3, the Nikon D3, to the new Nikon D3s? And can you share with us some of the custom settings of your camera? Okay, so the hat's on because when I'm out in the oil fields of Bucks County, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, I like to have my hat on. So here we go. We have the D3s. And I'll go through why I went to the D3s over or replaced the D3 in a little bit. So what are the differences? At first, when the camera came out, the only thing that I thought they changed was that they added video. All right, the feature that allows you to do 720 video. It records audio right in the camera. It's a great feature. I was anti-video. I'm still not totally for it, but the quality that you can do with a real photographic lens. I mean, we've seen it with the Canons, with the 5D Mark IIs, the amazing footage that is being shot because you have a lens that it's just putting on a 35 millimeter lens on a body like this. It's just the depth that you're getting is amazing. So that, ended up being a cool feature, but it didn't end there. The D3 was amazing to begin with in high ISO, shooting at 6400, was pushing it just a little bit in my mind, but I used to top out at about 4,000. I didn't like to go to 5,000, but then, at first I thought the D3, or at first when the information came out, it didn't say anything about a new sensor. It just said that they boost the ISO capability by a full stop. So 6400 in the old camera, in the D3, was like, it's like 3200 in this camera. So really the new camera says that the basic range goes from 200 all the way up to 12,800. And that's the normal range before you even get into the high settings, the H1, H2, and things like that. So those are really the main differences. I know they changed the buffer and they changed things like that, and they added the live view button right here, which is much easier to get to. So you want to get into video or you want to get into live view, bam, you push the button, the mirror flips up, and you're ready to rock. But in terms of upgrading, so my thought process in upgrading was, one, the longer I held on to the D3, the more money I would lose when I got rid of it. So if I dumped it as soon as the D3s was announced, or as soon as that came out and I had this, then I would get as much money out of it as possible. Because when over time, the bodies are going to lose a hell of a lot of money. But for me, the low light capability shooting was the most important. If you are shooting in low light often, and you can afford to upgrade to the new camera, I would go for it. Because that's just, for me to sit in a room, with a band where I would have to push it to 4,000 at the highest in the D3 to keep some quality, to sit there at 8 or 10,000 right now and not blink an eye, at the quality, because 10,000 is like shooting 4,000 in the other camera, if not 3,200. I think it's better than a full stop. That's just what it seems like to me, especially when you're shooting raw. I love what I'm getting out of it. To sit in a dark place where you could never shoot with film, or you could rarely shoot with any other digital SLR, to get what I'm getting now, or to get what you'd be able to get in those situations, is just incredible. Now, reasons not to upgrade. Don't need video. I don't think video is the prime reason for anybody to upgrade to the new camera, because you could do a D300S if you really wanted, but there are or will be replacements to the D700 at some point, which will give that video. So that's always something to think about, that the next D700 may have a D3S sensor in it, and it will do video, or maybe it may even do better video than this. But you ask yourself, if you should be upgrading, these are the questions you should ask. Do you do a lot of low light shooting? If the answer is no, then no, I really wouldn't upgrade at this time. I would wait till a D4 or the next, the replacement to the D700. Because if you're not shooting in low light, the D3 is incredible. Just flat out amazing. So the added bonuses in the D3s aren't that major if you're not shooting in low light. So Hamed, really, if you're doing a lot of low light shooting, then yeah, go ahead, go for it. And if you want to really dabble with the video and that's something that you're into, go for it. But if you're doing a lot of bright light shooting and bright daylight, or you're doing a lot of studio settings, there's no need right now. Invest in more lenses, get some better glass, because glass is something that you take for 8 to 10 years, 6 to 10 years depending on the lens. You'll take it from camera to camera to camera. Cameras are gone every 2 years now, if not quicker. In terms of settings in my camera, the one setting that I set myself that I like a lot is the custom menu. To have a custom menu, let's see, does it show up? Yeah. To have a custom menu where I can put what I want right at my fingertips really quick is really important. So what I put into my custom menu, I have the format card right at the top. It's not something I want to do by accident, but it's there. Battery info, I like to see how many shots I've taken on the battery, as well as how much time is left. Dynamic AF area. Okay, so I have the options between 9 points, 21 points, 51 points, and 51 3D. I switch between 21 and 51 mostly. 51 is for if I'm shooting moving subjects in continuous mode. I want it to, as the subject is moving, the focus will switch to the different focus area that the subject jumps into. When you're in single shot, it doesn't matter because you have to recompose your focus each time. So that's what I use there. I also now you have the beep. Those are the two different beeps. Now I use the high beep, but if I'm shooting a wedding or if I'm shooting somewhere where it needs to be quiet, I have to get into that quickly to turn off the beep. So that's a setting in my custom menu. Live view mode, it's there in case I need to switch something real quick. Sensor cleaning, the camera gives me the sensor cleaning. So that's, there you go. The D3s added that the D3 didn't have. It works pretty well. I usually do it a couple times if there's dust, just to hopefully get rid of it. And that rounds up. Vertical horizon. This is what you have. Vertical. That's a band vertical horizon. Virtual horizon. So you can see it moving, and you can see that when it's lined up properly, the camera is level. So that's good for landscapes and everything like that. Those are primarily the custom functions that I move into the most. But there is a good one for playback. People they notice when I'm shooting, I do look at the camera. They call it chimping, where you're checking your picture. I'm not always looking at just the picture. What I have set is when I press the center button of the dial, it zooms almost all the way into the photo so I can check my focus. I'm checking focus when I'm looking at the camera. When I'm chimping and looking at the picture, I check framing, make sure I didn't cut anything off. But the first thing I look for, because when I'm shooting in a hurry, is focus. I want to see that I got it tack sharp and I can move on to the next picture. So that's in your custom settings. It's the center dial function where when you're reviewing a picture, you press the middle button right there on the directional dial and it zooms right in to the center of the picture, and then you can move around and make sure you're tack sharp. So really, I hope that answers your questions. It's what went through my mind when I went from the D3 to the D3s was low light capability that it gave me. That was the most important, and that's why I went with it. So weigh those options for yourself. If you think that you do more in low light or you do more in low light, then yes, there you go. And if you want to do the video, there you go. So again, I'd like to answer a question every single day. So anybody out there, email me, Jared@jaredpoland.com, and I will, make a list and do everybody's videos.